Day 1 of sub-I. Straight. Living the dream. So yeah, I didn't get much footage over the past couple weeks, and that's for good reason, because I was on my sub-internship, or as some places call it, AI, or acting internship, and it was a lot, and for good reason. So this is my friend Daniel. We've known each other since college, and he is an investment banker, a career which I'm sure is probably one of few that rivals the work ethic, rigor, and probably hours as medicine. After my sub-I, we decided to go to New York City for the weekend, hang out, catch up, and I think it was nice because he is one of very few of my friends who actually are outside of medicine or healthcare in general. Yo, how many hours do you typically work in a week?
Typically work in a week?
That's a good question.
Really depends.
It's
The worst, 80 to 100. The best, under 40.
What's the most amount of time you've worked without any sleep?
Probably like 3 to 5 hours or so, and then keep going to work. But there's a work-life balance in banking, that's for sure.
The very next weekend, flew out to Los Angeles, California to start kind of a couple weeks of celebration. Of course, this is the time when a lot of my friends are graduating medical school, and I was gracious to be invited out to the one and only Rachel Southard's graduation party. I'm very honored to be able to be a part of that, and her family is absolutely just the brightest. They're the brightest rays of sunshine, and it was such an amazing trip to be able to celebrate someone's next chapter, and one that I hope to be celebrating fairly soon as well too. And speaking of celebrating medical school graduates, had to go back home to a graduation ceremony a lot closer to home, and I'm so proud of the class of 2023 to watch them really in awe as they start their new careers as full-fledged physicians. Oh, and I'm not really sure how MCG pulled this off, but I think we had a pretty decent keynote speaker who I think a lot of you guys may recognize. Hint, hint. And finally, I finished up an emergency ultrasound elective right before my emergency medicine rotation, which I was practicing a ton of cardiac and trauma ultrasound, as well as helping teach the first and second years how to do said trauma ultrasounds. This is amazing. No, there was not a pericardial effusion on here. That's a 20-gauge needle right to the heart. And I got to work with an incredible team and a lovely visiting resident from Panama. Absolutely awesome experience. And that leads me here. Cat sitting, well, more pet sitting. Hello? Excuse you, you're the star of the show now? Do I need to blur this out? Hi, what is this? So that leads me here. Pet sitting on the weekend for one of my friends, about 2 to 3 months after those clips that you just saw. Why so long in between? Well, to be honest, that's because my cameras have been very expensive dust collectors for the past several months. Dex, you want to be a part of this? What do you have to say to the people? We got Sage here too. What's up, Sage? Focus. Sage, which one? I knew my sub-I was going to be pretty challenging, and because of that, I scheduled a lot of those trips afterwards to kind of like refresh my brain. But to be honest, I was a lot more drained after my sub-I than I think I ever could have predicted. So you can choose to do your sub-I in anything you want, and that's kind of, oh, hi. So you can choose to do your sub-I in the specialty that you were thinking of pursuing, whether that be emergency medicine, internal medicine, psychiatry, OBGYN, or surgery. Because the specialties that I was interested in, or still are interested in, revolve around the OR, I decided to do a surgical sub-I. And the thing with a sub-I is it's a sub-internship, or an AI acting internship, meaning that you are basically trying to be as close to an acting intern as humanly possible without obviously getting paid, because it's supposed to test your ability to be ready for residency. And I think deciding to do that right after my step 1, step 2, and my shelf dedicated period was equally a mistake and a good thing, because all that step 2 knowledge was fresh in my head, but I was so physically, mentally, and emotionally burnt out throughout that entire period. Combine that with a practically surgery lifestyle for a month, you can imagine that didn't do so well for up here. Now, don't get me wrong, my sub-I was really, really awesome. I had a ton of incredible residents, some of which know about this channel. I had some great attendings, but I was running really on empty from the very beginning. And after that sub-I, I realized that the 4 weeks of that sub-I, I wanted to bring me a ton more answers to where I wanted to go. I think it gave me a lot more questions than I wanted, and that concerned me a lot. And to be honest, kind of put me in a career panic, made me more uneasy than I've ever been in medical school. The trips I took pointed me to people that had their life completely figured out, had a steady job, was just graduating, had a ton of family support and a lot of, well, direction with their life. And everybody hypes up fourth year with like, oh, it's so easy, you just cruise and everything. But for me, knowing what I wanted to go into, or at least what I thought I wanted to go into, I still remember specifically at my own MCG hooding ceremony of everyone going like, it's gonna be you in a year. And my response was always, I hope so. And I think that was the kind of anxiety that crippled me for probably months. On top of all that, my conversations with Rachel and kind of like what she was doing with her channel and residency prompted a lot of questions for me, and even more concern with future direction of not just my medical career, but also what to do with all of this. And then not just that, but she introduced me or reintroduced me to the pre-med and med subreddit, which somehow my name ended up on, a site that I have not been on since before medical school. And of course, keyboard warriors are out there. A ton of you guys are very positive, and then some of you guys well, I had to admit to myself that I had a pretty unhealthy relationship with social media and creativity and creating at that time, so hence, the break. But the penultimate truth is that I think during your fourth year, everybody has this notion that you're supposed to have everything lined up, path straight, and everything figured out, especially in your career, your life. I mean, a ton of my friends are getting married, engaged right now. A ton of my friends, knew what they wanted to do since first year of medical school and have gone for that, this entire time, and they have this straightforward path to go through to graduate. In many ways, I'm pretty envious of that, because I can see myself doing and being happy in multiple different specialties, and I know that the clock is ticking as far as ERAS and everything goes, so that's why things have been kind of hectic on my end. But after a lot of conversations with some of my own classmates, a lot of advisors, I slowly started to realize that fourth year, although stereotypically is supposed to be like the herald land of relaxation, so many of my peers also were flip-flopping between two, were filled with a lot of future casting anxiety. I think for the first time in a very long time, I realized and felt that I wasn't alone. Not just that, but think the lesson that I had to learn was, especially for somebody who is a big planner and has been their entire life. I mean, my 7-year program was, you do these things and then you have point A and point B, you get there. I think for the first time, that path isn't so clear, and it feels like it's too late for me to deviate and decide and make a new decision. And a lot of people have felt that way, especially in their 4th year. But the big takeaway that I've had to learn over these past few months is that it's never too late to recalibrate. And it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to make another decision you didn't expect to make, because you just really don't know until life teaches you the lessons that it needs to. And as far as where I want to take this, I had a conversation with another creator on how to be raw and authentic about kind of the experiences of medical school. And a lot of the reasons why I take breaks is because there's times when I'm processing a lot of very, let's go with enlightening lessons that medical school and life has taught me, adult lessons really, that I need to learn to grow up. Whether that's prioritizing relationships over gunning hard for my career like I've done all my life, or whether it's finding a healthy balance between being there for your patients and being there for yourself. Whenever I'm taught those hard lessons in medical school, I kind of let it simmer for a little bit and then make a video about it, because I need time to digest what my experience meant to teach me and what God is trying to teach me in those moments, even though I may not see it in that moment and my mind is clouded with anxiety, fear, and frustration. So over the next few months, I am probably going to do a vlog series on lessons that I've learned from medical school. And it won't be about diagnoses and first line of management. It's going to be the life adult lessons that are not written in a textbook, because at least to me, those are some of the most powerful ones that will stick with me and have transformed me into really the person I am today. So consider this a page turning in both my medical career as well as this channel. Don't worry, I still got interviews and podcasts along the way. Hopefully the people that like the vlogs will stick around for it. I got a ton of traveling and a lot of updates leading up to ERAS. Of course, out of respect for the institutions that I do away rotations at, I probably won't vlog during those, just because, well, I want them to hire me. But also if they ask, sure, I'll showcase their program. But anyways, let me go feed these children. The gangs all here. Ooh, big stretch. And thanks for being here along the ride.